A buffer solution is a solution that resists a change in pH when a small quantity of strong acid or a soluble base is added to it. And the small is important to remember because buffer has a capacity. If you add more than what it takes, you change its pH. Amino acids are great sort of species in creating buffers for biochemical environments. Our blood is a buffer of pH of 7.4. If you look at a typical amino acids, there is usually specific pH that the hydrogen of carboxylic group goes to other side to the amine and will create this side, which is acidic, and the other side is basic. This is known as amphoteric or Zwitter ion, that you have both nature of acidic and basic to it. Now, if you take this amino acid and if you add small quantity of hydrochloric acid, you are going to add the H plus to the negative side of COO minus to create this. And this is the version that the base, this amino acid is behaving as a base to accept your hydrochloric acid to create conjugate acid. The combination that you just created, a weak base and its conjugate acid, this is what a buffer is. So now you took your amino acid and you created a buffer by just adding small quantity of hydrochloric acid. To the same amino acid, if you add hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, and alkali, the OH minus goes to the H plus of this partner to give you H2O. And what happens, this is behaving as an acid in this term to create a conjugate base. Now you have a weak acid and its conjugate base, then again you have created a buffer solution. If you look at glycine, for example, isoelectric of glycine is a pH of 6. At this point, it doesn't behave as a buffer. It's just amphoprotic or Zwitter ion. When you add a small quantity of acid to it, then you create a region that is buffer. Now you have both an acid and a base in it. And also, if you take glycine and add a little bit of sodium hydroxide, then you would create a buffer, a new buffer in this region. So a buffer here is a basic buffer. So buffers could have different pHs. And a buffer here is acidic buffer. So there are different ways that you can make buffers. You should remember they maintain their pH when a small quantity of acid or base is added to it. The next slide, we are going to look at typical calculation of pH of a buffer.